Beyonce's new song and video Formation has been deemed a Black Power anthem, as well as an endorsement for the Black Lives Matter movement in a timely release before February's Black History Month, as well as her performance in the Super Bowl. Now, the video is chock full of powerful imagery, some showing her on top of a police car in a flooded New Orleans. There's other images as it slowly sinks throughout the video, images of Martin Luther King, graffiti saying "Stop shooting us."
Yeah, well, that seems pretty clear.
Yeah, as well as a super powerful image of a young child in a hoodie, sort of dancing in front of these New Orleans cops, and then eventually having them put their hands up in the, "Don't shoot me, hands up" movement. Now, it's also a celebration of Black culture in itself, of Beyonce's own Southern roots, an embrace of them that contrasts the dated, offensive narrative that when a person becomes successful, they should shun their history and where they came from. The lyrics mention things such as afros. She says that you can't take the country out of her. And she also talks about her affinity for cornbread and collard greens. So this video was released a day before her Super Bowl performance. And then you can see an image here of the Super Bowl performance. Beyonce's backup dancers were dressed in all black with black berets and afros, reminiscent of the way members of the Black Panther Party dressed in the 1960s. They even raise their fists, something very similar to the Black Panther movement.
I love this. And I think what she's doing here is powerful. So sinking the New Orleans cop car, of course, is going to make some people mad, right? Oh, how dare you?
Right.
She's not respecting the police. Now, remember, some officers during Hurricane Katrina were charged, literally, with shooting at black people trying to escape the flooding on bridges. As they were trying to cross over to predominantly white areas, they would get shot. So you'll excuse people if they're slightly mad about that, right? And now Beyonce could have played it safe and not made allusions to that or to hands up, where and a lot of people could take that kid dancing and then the cops putting their hands up as, no, we're flipping the narrative here, and you need to put your hands up. And that'll frighten a lot of people, right? And she's saying, no, but we're the ones getting shot. So hence the sign, don't shoot us. Hence the reference to the Black Panthers taking the power back. And so I loved it. I mean, that is really, really strong. It takes a certain amount of risk, and in entertainment, you're constantly told, don't take any risks, don't offend anyone. It might jeopardize a couple of dollars here or there. And here's Beyonce saying, I don't give a damn. And she's certainly rich enough to do that. And buried into the songs, probably most people, unfortunately, won't notice. But even if it subtly influences people in the right direction, fantastic, more power to her.
Yeah, no, and Katrina, excuse me, is something that's very, very important for Beyonce. In fact, her and Jay-Z have donated quietly $7 million to the effort following the hurricane. So that's really important.
That's so quiet, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, no, exactly. And so I think, and they've donated, I think, $1.5 million to the Black Lives Matter movement. So this is something that's very close to her heart. And this is one of her most politically charged videos. And obviously, a lot of people are celebrating this and applauding her for making this movement, especially people within the Black Lives Matter movement. But some people at a particular network may disagree with her stance here, as well as her bringing it to the Super Bowl platform. In fact, on Monday, Mayor Rudy Giuliani commented on Fox News saying, the halftime show I thought was ridiculous anyway. I don't know what the heck it was. A bunch of people bouncing around and all strange things. It was terrible. This is football, not Hollywood, and I thought it was really outrageous that she used it as a platform to attack police officers who are the people who protect her and protect us and keep us alive. So I get where he's coming from, but obviously her movement is a lot more necessary right now in this movement, and especially on the platform of the Super Bowl. So the Super Bowl is the most viewed sports event in sports history, right? And the NFL fan base is 77% white, and the majority of those people are also affluent. So it's like rich white people who do need to hear this message if they're not getting it from somewhere else. So I think it's important that she brought it to this stage.
Yeah, that's why they're mad.
Yeah.
And what a nonsensical comment. This is not Hollywood. What are you talking about? The whole thing's entertainment. Football's entertainment, music's entertainment. Of course it's Hollywood.
Right.
It's all in the same genre. And his comments were even more disrespectful. He said, ironically, that the black community needs to, quote, build up respect for police officers. That sounds like know your role, know your place. And Beyonce is in effect saying, no, this is my role, this is my place. So I have accumulated this power through the success I've had in entertainment, and I'm going to use it.
Right.
So if that makes you uncomfortable, well, that's your problem, not mine. And she is doing all the right things in terms of if you have a person who's built this platform, you use it for good. A lot of the athletes did back in the 1960s. So whether it was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar or Bill Walton, who was white, who said, we're going to stand up against Vietnam, we're going to stand up for civil rights for African Americans. And so if you want to watch us play basketball and you like us, well, I got a message for you. Stop beating up on black people. And so, which brings us all the way back to the Black Panthers. Giuliani hates the Black Panthers. He, talked disparagingly about them in that interview, but he always does anyway. And they always use it as like, oh, Black Panthers, they're the worst. But understand what the Black Panthers originally were, why they were set up in the first place. Because it was the 1960s,
right,
and black people were systematically discriminated against far beyond what is today, and today is already pretty bad, right? But if you haven't read anything about the 1960s and you don't know how people were still getting murdered for not knowing their role, and lynched, etc., and the civil rights workers that were killed by the Klan. Yes, the Klan was still around and was incredibly powerful in some portions of the country. And the Black Panthers said, hey, listen, I have a Second Amendment right to weapons. Weapons are used against me, and I'm going to use these weapons not offensively, but for its intended purpose, self-protection, as the Founding Fathers intended. So when they did that, white people flipped out. And so everybody was like, oh my God, the Black Panthers is black people with guns. Now the NRA should be on their side. It turns out they weren't. Shocking. So the Black Panthers took over a state building once. Now let me show you how differently it went than when certain Bundy militia take over a federal building today. They went into the California State House and they had weapons. At the time, it was perfectly legal for them to bring weapons into the State House. Right. Nonetheless, everybody went crazy. They didn't take it over like, okay, they didn't take out any of the weapons. They didn't threaten anybody, unlike the militia guys today, right? But people were so disconcerted by the idea that black people came into the State House with weapons that they immediately threw them out from the building, and the Black Panthers walked out. They didn't resist it. In fact, they got arrested even though they were technically perfectly legal what they had done, right? Afterwards, the NRA petitioned California to change the law so that they couldn't carry weapons anywhere they liked. Wait a minute, I thought the NRA was always in favor of weapons everywhere. I thought a good guy with a gun could stop a bad guy with a gun. Turns out when that guy is black, they don't consider him a good guy. And you know who signed that into law in California? The governor at the time, Ronald Reagan. So the Black Panthers, as originally conceived, and at some point the cops, well, of course, despised the Black Panthers. There were several confrontations, and some of them went awry and in a direction they should not have gone in. So that's what everybody seizes upon, right? Right. But the original concept of the Black Panthers was, we're going to take the power back. If you say I got a Second Amendment right, then I got a Second Amendment right, and I'm going to use it for self-defense, right? And at that time, the reaction was so overwhelming against it, they had to pass laws taking away Second Amendment rights. So now if Beyonce is saying, hey, you know what, we're getting shot again, right? And it's a lot of powerless kids, whether they're in St. Louis, they're in New Orleans, they're in Chicago, they're in New York, wherever they happen to be. Well, I got a little bit of power, and I'm going to use it. And I'm at least going to put that message out there. That is fantastic. Nicely done.